Ladies and gentlemen, let's take a moment to reflect on the notion of solitude being alone, yet not lonely. It's an idea that carries profound implications for how we navigate this chaotic and complex world. To enjoy being alone is not merely an act of withdrawal from others. It is, in essence, a confrontation with yourself. When you are alone, you come face to face with the core of your being, the person you are when there is no one else to impress, no roles to play, no masks to wear. That's a terrifying encounter for many because it strips away all distractions and forces you to acknowledge both your potential and your limitations. But that very act of acknowledgement is also the path to freedom. To enjoy solitude is to become comfortable with your own mind, and that's no small task. Most people fill every quiet moment with noise, scrolling endlessly, flipping through channels, filling every gap with chatter or distraction, because silence is uncomfortable. Silence reveals the gaps in your understanding, the unresolved questions in your life, and the truths you've been avoiding. And yet, it's in those moments of discomfort that real growth begins. You see, when you're alone, you learn something invaluable. You learn to rely on yourself. You learn to differentiate between what truly matters to you and what has been imposed on you by the expectations of others. You begin to understand that your value isn't dependent on external validation, but on the extent to which you align your actions with the highest ideals you can imagine. Enjoying solitude doesn't mean rejecting society or relationships. Quite the opposite, it means cultivating the strength to be fully present in them. Because when you are comfortable with yourself, you are less likely to seek relationships out of desperation or a need to escape. Instead, you approach others from a place of abundance. You're no longer asking, what can I take? But rather, what can I offer? This is a vital skill in an increasingly chaotic world. If you cannot tolerate your own company, you will struggle to navigate the complexity of life. You will become overly dependent on the opinions of others, swayed by every gust of social pressure, and prone to making compromises that chip away at your integrity. But when you can enjoy being alone, you anchor yourself. You become a person who is grounded, clear-eyed, and capable of standing firm in the face of uncertainty. And here's the paradox. When you enjoy solitude, you also appreciate connection more deeply. You understand that the relationships you form are not about filling a void, but about enriching an already fulfilling existence. You bring more to the table because you are not looking to others to complete you. You are already whole. Now, enjoying solitude doesn't mean you should isolate yourself perpetually. It's not about walling yourself off from the world. It's about having the courage to retreat into yourself, to face your fears, to wrestle with your doubts, and to emerge stronger, wiser, and more capable. It's about creating a space where you can think clearly, recalibrate your values, and plan your next move deliberately rather than reacting impulsively to the chaos around you. So how do you cultivate this ability? The first step is to be intentional about your solitude. Don't just stumble into moments of being alone, choose them. Use them as an opportunity to reflect, to create, to think. Write down your thoughts, set goals, identify your weaknesses, and work on them. These moments of solitude are not wasted time. They are the crucible in which your character is forged. The second step is to face the discomfort. Being alone can be unsettling at first because it forces you to confront parts of yourself that you'd rather avoid. But don't run from that discomfort. Sit with it. Explore it. Understand it. Because once you do, you'll find that those fears lose their power over you. And finally, recognize that enjoying solitude is a skill, not an inherent trait. It's something you develop over time through practice and effort. It's about creating a relationship with yourself that is rooted in honesty, compassion, and accountability. When you enjoy being alone, you are no longer a prisoner of distraction or social validation. You become the kind of person who can weather life's storms with resilience, who can make decisions with clarity, and who can approach relationships with authenticity. So I challenge you to spend time with yourself. Get to know who you are beneath the surface. Because in doing so, you will not only learn to enjoy solitude, you will learn to lead a life that is meaningful, purposeful, and deeply fulfilling. Solitude serves as a powerful mirror for self-reflection, offering an unparalleled opportunity to examine the depths of your mind and soul. It strips away the distractions of everyday life, social obligations, professional responsibilities, and the constant influx of information, leaving you alone with your thoughts and emotions. This experience can be both unsettling and transformative, as it forces you to face parts of yourself that often remain hidden in the noise of daily existence. When you are alone, there is no one to impress, no societal scripts to follow, and no external validation to seek. What remains is the raw, unfiltered version of you, and that is where self-reflection begins. In solitude, you can assess your beliefs, motivations, and actions with honesty. It provides the space to ask questions that often go unexamined in the hustle of modern life. Why do I do the things I do? What truly matters to me? Where am I falling short of my own potential? These questions, though difficult, are essential for personal growth. They challenge you to confront the discrepancies between who you are and who you aspire to be, prompting a deeper awareness of your values, priorities, and long-term goals. This reflective process is not always comfortable. The solitude that invites self-reflection can also amplify doubts, insecurities, and regrets. It is far easier to distract yourself with constant activity or external validation than to sit quietly and wrestle with the complexities of your own mind. However, it is precisely through this discomfort that growth occurs. Just as physical exercise strengthens the body by pushing it beyond its comfort zone, solitude strengthens the mind by encouraging introspection and emotional resilience. It is in these moments of quiet struggle that you begin to develop clarity and self-awareness. When solitude becomes a regular practice, it cultivates a habit of self-accountability. Without the influence of others, you must take full ownership of your thoughts and actions. This process encourages you to recognize patterns in your behavior, identify areas for improvement, and celebrate your progress. For instance, you may realize that certain fears or anxieties stem from outdated beliefs, or that your current path does not align with your core values. Such revelations, while challenging, empower you to make conscious, intentional changes in your life. Solitude also fosters creativity and problem solving. When you are alone, your mind has the freedom to wander without the constraints of external demands. This mental space often leads to fresh insights, innovative ideas, and solutions to problems that may have seemed insurmountable. Many of history's greatest thinkers, artists, and leaders have credited solitude as the source of their most profound breakthroughs. It is in these quiet moments that you can connect with your inner voice, unlocking a wellspring of creativity and intuition that might otherwise go unnoticed. Ultimately, solitude acts as a mirror because it reflects back the truth of who you are. It reveals your strengths and weaknesses, your hopes and fears, your dreams and regrets. While this process can be challenging, it is also deeply liberating. By confronting yourself honestly, you gain the clarity and courage to live a life that is authentic and aligned with your highest ideals. Solitude, then, is not an escape from the world, but a tool for understanding yourself within it. It is a vital practice for anyone seeking to grow, evolve, and lead a full life. The discomfort of silence is often seen as something to avoid, but it is one of the most powerful catalysts for personal growth. Silence creates a space where the mind is no longer shielded by distractions, forcing you to confront thoughts, emotions, and truths that are usually drowned out by the noise of daily life. For many, this discomfort arises because silence exposes vulnerability. It reveals doubts you've suppressed, fears you've buried, and questions you've left unanswered. Yet it is in this very discomfort that transformation begins, as silence pushes you to explore the deeper layers of your mind and soul. When life is filled with constant activity, endless conversations, notifications, and external stimuli, it becomes easy to avoid difficult introspection. These distractions provide temporary relief, allowing you to escape from the discomfort of facing your true self. But avoiding silence is a missed opportunity because it is precisely within this stillness that unresolved thoughts and emotions rise to the surface. These moments, though unsettling, are where self-awareness begins. They give you the chance to reflect on what is holding you back, what you truly desire, and what changes you need to make to move forward. Sitting in silence can be uncomfortable because it challenges the mind's natural tendency to avoid pain and seek immediate gratification. In silence, there is no escape from your internal struggles. If you are uncertain about your path in life, silence will amplify that uncertainty. If you carry guilt, shame, or regret, silence will bring those emotions to the forefront. This is why many people instinctively fill their lives with noise to avoid this confrontation. However, the discomfort of silence is not meant to punish you. It is an invitation to grow. It pushes you to acknowledge what is unresolved within yourself so that you can address it, rather than allowing it to fester unnoticed. As you sit with this discomfort, something remarkable begins to happen. What initially feels overwhelming starts to lose its intensity. You realize that the fears and doubts you've been avoiding are not as insurmountable as they seemed. By examining them in silence, you gain perspective. You begin to understand their origins, their purpose, and how they can be addressed or reframed. This process builds emotional resilience, teaching you that discomfort is not something to be feared, but something to be embraced as part of a human experience. Moreover, silence fosters clarity. Without the constant barrage of external input, your mind has the freedom to process and organize thoughts more effectively. Insights emerge naturally, and solutions to problems become clearer. Silence becomes a space for recalibration, allowing you to reel in your values and priorities. Over time, what once felt like an uncomfortable void transforms into a sanctuary for reflection and renewal. Embracing the discomfort of silence is also an act of courage. It requires you to trust that you have the strength to face whatever arises within you. It's a practice of self-compassion where you allow yourself to feel, process, and heal without judgment. This process not only deepens your relationship with yourself, but also equips you to handle external challenges with greater composure and confidence. In the end, the discomfort of silence is not a barrier to overcome, but a doorway to personal growth. It is in these quiet, uncomfortable moments that you come to know yourself more deeply, understand your potential, and prepare to engage with the world from a place of clarity and strength. Silence, though uncomfortable at first, becomes a teacher, guiding you toward the person you are capable of becoming. Self-reliance is one of the most empowering aspects of enjoying solitude. And it is through solitude that this self-reliance can be cultivated. In a world where many people look to others for validation, approval, or direction, learning to rely on yourself can be a profoundly liberating experience. When you are alone, there is no one to lean on, no one to seek advice from, and no one to tell you what you should be doing. This solitude presents a unique opportunity to strengthen your inner foundation and build confidence in your own judgment. It's through this process that you learn to trust yourself and your decisions, creating a sense of self-sufficiency that is crucial for navigating life's challenges. In solitude, you are forced to be the architect of your own life. When there are no external influences dictating your choices, you are left with your thoughts, your desires, and your decisions. This can initially feel daunting because it means you must take full responsibility for your actions, both the successes and the failures. But it is this very responsibility that empowers you to take charge of your life. You are not merely reacting to the circumstances around you. Instead, you begin to make deliberate choices that align with your values, vision, and aspirations. As you practice self-reliance in solitude, you develop the confidence to trust your intuition. Without the noise of external opinions, you learn to listen to your inner voice, the instincts and wisdom that arise from your lived experiences. This inner guidance becomes a compass that helps you navigate through uncertainty and complexity. When you trust yourself, you are less likely to be swayed by the opinions of others or by societal pressures that may not align with your true desires. Instead, you become more attuned to what is authentic to you, and you develop the courage to act on it. Self-reliance does not mean isolation or rejecting help from others. Rather, it means cultivating the ability to stand on your own 2 feet and make decisions independently. It means having the confidence to seek advice when needed, but also the discernment to know when to follow your own instincts. It is an ongoing process of learning to balance external input with internal wisdom. When you trust yourself, you approach challenges with a sense of agency rather than helplessness. You are not a passive recipient of life's circumstances. You become an active participant, shaping your path with intention and clarity. Solitude also offers the opportunity to develop resilience. In times of difficulty, when there are no distractions or easy escapes, you learn to endure and persevere. You face challenges head-on, relying on your inner strength to guide you through adversity. This resilience builds over time as each challenge faced in solitude becomes an opportunity to strengthen your mental and emotional muscles. When you know you can handle difficulties on your own, you become more adaptable and resourceful in the face of uncertainty. You stop viewing obstacles as threats and start seeing them as opportunities for growth. In the end, self-reliance gained through solitude creates a sense of autonomy and empowerment. It fosters a deep sense of inner peace because you no longer feel the need to constantly seek approval or validation from others. You are confident in your own abilities and decisions, and this confidence spills over into every aspect of your life. Whether it is your career, your relationships, or your personal growth, self-reliance enables you to pursue what matters to you without relying on others for affirmation. The strength that comes from this practice provides a solid foundation for living authentically and purposefully, knowing that you are the author of your own story. When you are comfortable being alone, you are not only enhancing your relationship with yourself, but also enriching the relationships you have with others. The paradox of solitude is that while it might initially seem like a retreat from the world, it can actually deepen your connections with others in ways that are far more meaningful and authentic. When you spend time alone and get to know yourself better, you stop looking to others to complete you, and instead you approach relationships from a place of wholeness. This shift in perspective transforms the way you relate to the people in your life. Many people enter relationships, whether they are friendships, romantic relationships, or professional connections, out of a sense of lack. They look to others to fill a void, to make them feel seen, validated, or important. The problem with this approach is that it often leads to dependence, where your sense of self-worth becomes tied to the approval or actions of others. This dynamic can create imbalances in relationships, where the need for external validation or affirmation overshadows the natural exchange of care and support. However, when you are comfortable being alone, you no longer need others to validate your existence. You come to realize that your worth is not contingent upon anyone else's opinion of you. You are whole on your own, and this newfound sense of independence allows you to engage with others from a place of abundance, not need. When you bring this mindset into your relationships, you begin to interact with others more authentically. You no longer feel the pressure to be someone you are not in order to gain approval. Instead, you show up as your true self with all of your strengths, vulnerabilities, and quirks. This authenticity invites deeper connections as it allows others to see you for who you really are without any pretenses or facades. You are no longer performing for approval. You are engaging in genuine interactions that are rooted in mutual respect and understanding. Being comfortable with yourself also makes it easier to set healthy boundaries in relationships where one person is dependent on the other for emotional support or validation. Boundaries can become blurred and resentment can build. However, when you are self-sufficient and confident in your own worth, you are more likely to communicate your needs clearly and respectfully. You are able to recognize when a relationship is no longer serving you and to walk away if necessary. This does not mean you close yourself off to others or push people away. Rather, it means that you can choose who to let into your life based on the quality of the relationship, rather than out of fear of being alone or rejected. The beauty of relationships built on this foundation of self-sufficiency is that they are no longer about completing each other. They are about enriching each other's lives. Instead of seeking to find someone who will make you feel whole, you are looking for someone with whom you can share a deeper, more meaningful connection. These relationships are based on mutual respect, shared values, and a genuine desire to grow together. You approach others not as a means to fill a void, but as a way to share your life, your experiences, and your aspirations. Furthermore, when you are comfortable in solitude, you also learn to appreciate the value of time spent with others. Without the need for constant companionship, you begin to see the true worth of quality interactions. You are no longer motivated by a desire to fill time or to escape your own company. Rather, you seek out relationships that are enriching, fulfilling, and aligned with your values. This deeper appreciation for connection fosters healthier, more intentional relationships, where both individuals are free to be their authentic selves without fear of judgment or rejection. Ultimately, the more you enjoy your own company, the more you have to offer in relationships. You are not looking to others to complete you. Instead, you are offering them your full, authentic self, knowing that your happiness and sense of fulfillment come from within. This foundation of self-awareness and self-sufficiency creates the conditions for truly meaningful and enduring relationships built on trust, respect, and genuine connection. Intentional solitude is a powerful tool for cultivating character and refining your sense of purpose. It's not merely about being alone. It's about using that time intentionally to reflect, reevaluate, and grow. The value of solitude lies not in passive isolation, but in active engagement with yourself. It offers an opportunity to step back from the demands and noise of the world, allowing you to recalibrate your values and your priorities. In a world that often demands immediate responses, constant activity, and multitasking, intentional solitude provides a much-needed pause, a moment to slow down, gather your thoughts, and align your actions with your deeper purpose. When solitude is embraced with intention, it becomes a space for self-discovery. It allows you to explore your inner landscape, the desires, fears, and dreams that define who you are. In the stillness of solitude, you can ask yourself profound questions. What are my deepest values? What do I truly want to achieve in life? What are the things I have been avoiding or denying? These are questions that are often crowded out by the constant busyness of life. But in solitude, they come to the forefront, offering you the chance to examine them without distraction. This self-exploration is the first step in developing a more coherent sense of identity and purpose. Intentional solitude also allows you to reflect on your life's trajectory. It's easy to get caught up in the rush of daily tasks, responding reactively to the demands of others, and losing sight of your long-term goals. However, when you intentionally step away from external distractions, you can take a more objective look at where you are in life and where you want to go. Are you living in alignment with your values? Are your actions contributing to the person you aspire to be? This kind of honest reflection is essential for course correction. It provides the clarity needed to adjust your path, set new goals, or let go of things that no longer serve you. This process of reflection and recalibration requires a commitment to growth. It's easy to remain stuck in old habits, repeating patterns that keep you in a state of inertia. Solitude, when used intentionally, forces you to face the parts of yourself that you might otherwise ignore, the fears, insecurities, and self-limiting beliefs that prevent you from moving forward. By bringing these to light, you give yourself the opportunity to address them and move beyond them. This is where personal development occurs, in the quiet moments of self-reflection, when you confront your weaknesses, reframe your perspective, and choose a new direction. It's an ongoing process, a practice that demands both patience and discipline. Intentional solitude also strengthens your emotional resilience. When you take time to be alone and reflect on your emotional landscape, you become more adept at managing your emotions in the face of life's challenges. Rather than reacting impulsively to external stressors, you learn to respond thoughtfully, grounded in a sense of inner peace and clarity. In solitude, you practice emotional regulation by facing your fears, anxieties, and frustrations head-on, without relying on external distractions to numb or escape them. Over time, this practice builds resilience, making you more capable of handling adversity and uncertainty. Furthermore, by cultivating solitude with intention, you develop a deeper connection to your own values and aspirations. You become less influenced by external pressures and opinions, and more focused on what truly matters to you. This creates a sense of inner alignment where your actions are consistent with your beliefs. As a result, you start living more authentically, acting from a place of conviction rather than reacting to the expectations of others. In the long term, the practice of intentional solitude shapes your character. It's not just about spending time alone. It's about making that time count. It's about using solitude as a tool for personal growth, emotional mastery, and self-discovery. By regularly retreating into solitude, you gain the clarity and insight necessary to live a more intentional, purposeful life. This practice not only strengthens your character, but also equips you to navigate the world with confidence, knowing that you have a clear sense of who you are and where you are headed. Solitude, when embraced deliberately, becomes a catalyst for profound transformation and lasting personal development.